Hi everyone, my name's Alexis and I'm a New York-based developer. In this video, we'll be using Chrome DevTools. This is a browser-based developer tool for the Chrome browser. We'll learn how to use Chrome DevTools to develop websites by inspecting the HTML and CSS source code and modifying the DOM to prototype or create an initial version of website in the browser. Perhaps some of you have already used Chrome DevTools on your own. The purpose of this video is to introduce you to Chrome DevTools and how to use it. By the end of this video, you should know how to access Chrome DevTools, use it to view HTML and CSS source code, and alter the DOM or document object model. Let's get started with this incredible tool. So, what are developer tools? Well, most browsers come with cool features that help us as web developers. The most popular of these browser-based web tools is Chrome DevTools. So you can think of the browser as a toolbox and the various features and functions of it as our tools, and we can use those tools to then test out changes to our website, debug code, and a whole lot more. There are many things that DevTools can do, but in this video, we'll only be focusing on the Elements tab. However, after you finish watching this, I highly encourage you all to click on the many tabs and see what they do. Let's open DevTools and check it out. To use Chrome DevTools, open the Chrome browser and navigate to the website you want to work with. This can be a project on your computer or a website on the internet. Here, we'll take a look at the Codecademy website with Chrome DevTools. We have two choices here. We can use a shortcut or combination of keys to open Chrome DevTools. Or we can right-click on the mouse and choose Inspect from the menu. That's it, we opened DevTools. So pause the video here and practice this on your own. Open up the browser to Codecademy or another website and open the Chrome DevTools pane. When you're able to do that, play the video. Let's go further and take a look at the code that makes up Codecademy. In the Chrome DevTools pane, we can see the code that makes up a website by clicking on the Elements tab if it isn't already open. We can see the website's HTML and CSS. This is called inspecting the HTML and CSS source code. This is a great way to take a closer look at a website and learn how interesting features of a website are made. To look at a particular HTML element, we can click on any of the HTML code in the Elements pane, or use the Select Element icon to directly click on it in the browser. It's then highlighted in the Elements pane. Let's see what that looks like. Do you have a favorite website or one you think is interesting? Pause the video and put your skills to the test. Open a tab to visit that website, then inspect the code of the website. When finished with that, continue playing the video. Now that we see the code that makes up a website, let's actually change it. Let's modify the existing CSS and change the appearance of a website. We'll select the HTML element we want to modify first. Let's say the sign up button here that says Start Coding Now. And in the Styles pane, we can directly edit the CSS rules, specifically the background color, by changing the value or using the color picker. So perfect. All right, it's your turn now. So with the browser open, visit a website like codecademy.com and change the background color of one of the elements using DevTools. When you're able to do that, play the video. On second thought, we don't like how this looks. So we refresh the page and the button changes back to purple. This means that changes we make in Chrome DevTools are not permanent. This is because we aren't changing the code that makes up the website, but a representation of the code called the DOM. The DOM, or document object model, is the browser's interpretation of the source code. So be aware that the source code and the DOM are in fact different and separate. That's all we need to know to get started with web development at the moment, but as we start to add JavaScript to our websites, this will become very important, and as we build more complex features, as well as use libraries like React. We can now see that using DevTools is a great way to quickly experiment with changes to a website without some fear of breaking it. So doing this is called prototyping in the browser, and it's a way of developing websites by making changes to a website in the browser itself in response to how it looks, rather than working off of written instructions or a photoshopped image of a website and somehow trying to translate that into code. It's fast, easy, and temporary to make changes this way, and we can also see the result of our changes instantaneously. Now that we have DevTools open, let's play with the website without permanently changing the code. Let's switch the color of the sign up button here that says Start Coding Now to red. We can do that by selecting the element with the Select Element tool, and then clicking on the Styles pane, then the plus sign, for a new style rule and directly typing in the CSS declaration to change it to red. We'll use background color and set the value here to red, and it changes instantaneously. So we can add more styling rather than just play with the existing CSS. Alright, your turn now. Pause the video here and practice what I showed you by going to Codecademy or another website. Add a new CSS rule to an element like background color or font family. When you're able to do that, continue watching. Let's see if we can modify the HTML and the DOM like we did the CSS. Let's look at the HTML elements or the content of a website. We want to change the largest heading on the current web page, the H1, to read, "You can do this." Let's select the H1 element using the select element icon, and we'll click on that. And we'll right-click on the highlighted HTML and choose Edit as HTML, and a text box will open. And we'll change the content here to read, "You can do this." Press Enter or Tab, and our changes are applied. Alright, it's your turn now. So we all know that you can do this too. So pause the video and practice what I've shown you. Change the H1 element on the codecademy.com webpage to read, "I can do this." And once that text is successfully changed, continue watching. So we can change existing content on a website via the DOM, but can we add and remove HTML elements as well? The answer is yes. Let's create an HTML element, a heading above Get Started for Free, so my name Alexis displays on the website. So to start, I'm going to choose that H2 heading that says Get Started for Free. I'll use the Select Element feature of Chrome DevTools to choose that element. Right-click and choose Edit HTML, then create the HTML element we want with the tags and content. We press Enter, Command, or simply hit Tab, and now Alexis appears on the home page. We may also delete this or any other HTML element on a website we're inspecting by selecting that element in the Elements tab of DevTools, and then right-clicking on that highlighted HTML and selecting Delete Element. And just like that, the element and the text disappears. Okay, so it's your turn to practice. So pause the video here and make Codecademy your own by going to codecademy.com and adding your name to the home page. When you're done, move on to wrap up. That wraps up this video. We explored the Codecademy website using Chrome DevTools and even made some temporary changes to it. The key things we did here were opening Chrome DevTools, viewing source code, and modifying the DOM. In the future, we will be utilizing this tool more often to create complex projects on your own computer, so get comfortable adding this to your development workflow. I hope that you either learned something new or that this helped to reinforce what you already know. Thanks for watching. My name is Alexis from Codecademy. Happy coding!